If you've watched our channel for a while, you know that we periodically will receive products from companies to do a review, test out a product, see if it's something that we would want to use, see if it's something we can recommend to you, our viewers. And if we're really interested in a product and we like the way it operates and we like the company, we will become an affiliate for that company. Well, we have been customers of Techno RV for a number of years now and purchased many products. And for those who don't know, Techno RV is about technology and the RV world coming together. They sell products that can help you make your RV life run smoother, be easier. And we recently became affiliates for Techno RV because we really believe in the team there, the customer service. They have a nice website where you can search and research and do all kinds of things that you might need to get the products you need for RV life. As affiliates, they offered to send us a product for something new that they're starting to offer, and that is portable power stations. They are becoming all the rage. There's all kinds of companies doing these now. And you have to know that if you're going to get one and rely on it, it has to be reliable. It has to have good, clean power if you're going to charge your electronics on it, which is what a lot of us are doing now with GoPro cameras and laptops and phones and everything that sucks up power all day long. And we need to be able to recharge either when we're off the grid or even when we're camping somewhere where we're plugged in, but maybe want to make sure that we have clean power that isn't impacted by changes in the power grid. And so they sent me the 500 watt Southwire portable power station. And I've been using it for the past week or so, kind of running it through its paces, hooking up different devices to it, draining the battery, recharging the battery, seeing how it works and how it operates. And I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with this thing. As I mentioned, they sent me the Southwire 500 watt portable power station. And what the 500 watt refers to is how much you can run on this thing at one time. There are smaller units. I believe it goes down to 250, and then there's a 300. There's also a larger 1100 watt unit. And that's that cap. So you can't run a device on this, the one that I have, that's more than 500 watts. And you can't run multiple devices on it that are going to add up to more than 500 watts. The basic premise of these portable power packs is exactly what it sounds like. It's made for personal use, it is portable, and it's going to provide power. But you need to look at some key things when you are considering which one of these to buy. You want to look at how many devices you can charge simultaneously. You want to look at the different types of plugs that it has so you know what you can attach to it. And then you also want to look at whether or not it's providing clean power. And in this case, the Southwires all provide what's known as pure sine wave energy. And that, to keep the technical side out of it, just means it's clean. So if you're going to plug in a laptop and you want to protect that circuitry, that's what you're going to want to look for, is something that provides pure sine energy. One of the nice things about this Southwire unit is you can attach up to 10 different devices. Now, granted, you don't want to hit that cap. So if you plug in a number of devices and it goes up over that 500 watts, it's going to warn you and it's going to shut down. But if you have a lot of smaller things that you could charge, you could put on multiple phones, you can hook up a couple of laptops, you could plug in your batteries from your camera to charge them. That can all go on at the same time and it's not going to affect it. The thing that's also nice about this is it has a lot of different ways to connect. There are USB-A, there's USB-C, there's DC, there's AC, you name it, there's probably a way that you can connect your device up to this unit to get it recharged. A few other things to consider when you are looking at purchasing one of these units is how can you recharge the battery? Because if you can't recharge it and you can't recharge it fast enough, it's not going to really do you any good. It's going to be a really expensive paperweight. So what I like about the Southwire is you can hook it up to an AC power plug and you can charge it from straight electricity. You can hook it up to a DC outlet, so you could charge it from your vehicle battery if you needed to. Maybe you can recharge it while you're driving down the road, and then when you get somewhere, you've got it ready to go for whatever you want to plug into it. And you can also hook it up to a solar panel. So there's lots of ways to charge this battery and get it going again, and that's always very helpful. Size-wise, it's not too bad. Like I said, this is the middle of the road size at the 500, so it's small enough that we feel comfortable with it in the van. It's not really in the way, and it's about 11 pounds, so it's not super light, but it's not super heavy either. As you go up to the larger one, it's going to take up more space. It's going to be a little heavier. The smaller ones are going to fit more easily into a small space, and they're going to be lighter if you carry them around a lot. But again, it all comes with pluses and minuses. So if you go to the smaller units, you're not going to have as much power to use overall, and you're not going to have as much power to use in terms of how long the battery will last. The larger unit will allow you to run larger devices, and it will also last longer in terms of battery for recharging those devices. It's all about give and take, just like everything else in the RV world. So let's talk pluses and minuses about using this unit. Like I said, I've been using it for about a week now. I've drained it down, I've charged it back up. Overall, it's performed very, very well, and I'm pretty happy with it. I do like that it has a nice LCD display on it that will tell you what is going on. It'll tell you how much of your battery percentage is left. It'll tell you how many watts are being drawn out of it by whatever you have plugged in, and it will give you an estimate of how many hours of battery are remaining if you left all those items plugged in. So that's handy to have. It also gives you on the display which of the plugs are turned on. So if you've got the AC plug on, the DC plug, the different USB outlets, those have to be turned on separately so that you provide power to them, and then that lets you know which ones are turned on or not. Another design feature I really like about this one compared to another portable power station that I have used is the buttons to turn those items on and off are flush with the unit. The one I have used previously, the buttons stuck out a little bit. So I suppose if you're fumbling for them in the dark or in a darkened area, you might be able to find them a little bit faster, but I have inadvertently turned it on numerous times, particularly the flashlight that's on that unit. If that button gets bumped, the light comes on and you're draining your battery for no reason. There is a flashlight on this one as well. It has a high and a low setting, and it also has an SOS mode, but again, that button is also flush with the unit, so it's less likely to get accidentally bumped and turned on. That's a really nice feature to have. In terms of any downside to this, I suppose there's just a couple. One is it runs a fan periodically when it's charging, and also if you are charging other devices off of it. So obviously it's needed. If the battery starts to heat up while it's being used, then it's going to need to be cooled off, and there is a fan built in to take care of that. I mentioned earlier that the fan icon will show up on the LCD display, but you don't really need it because it is a little bit loud. So I was surprised how loud the fan was, but I guess if it's doing its job and it's keeping the unit cool, that's more important. It's just a little bit annoying to have that fan noise in the background when you're trying to work on something, maybe on a laptop while you're charging it. The other thing is that it's nice that the unit goes off by itself. So the display, once you've turned everything off, will shut down after a short amount of time and you know everything is off. The downside, I suppose, to having those buttons and having to turn on each of the types of plugs is you have to remember to turn them off. So if you have your laptop plugged into the AC and you've turned it on, you have to, maybe you're done and you unplug your laptop, and I've done this. You look over later and I'm like, wow, that's weird. The unit didn't turn off. Why is the LCD display still on? Well, I unplugged my laptop, but I never hit the button to turn off the AC plug. So it's been sitting there waiting for something to get plugged into it. Now, is there much of a draw? I don't know. I think it's just running the LCD display at that time. It's not really pushing power anywhere else, but I would assume over time that's going to draw some power. It's probably got a parasitic drain from that LCD display, and I really wish that if nothing was plugged in, it would turn off after a while and you wouldn't have to manually hit those buttons to turn the plugs off. It's a minor inconvenience and just something to be aware of if you are using this and you haven't used it in a while and you look over and the screen's on, double check that display and it will tell you which of the buttons you left on and which of the plugs are ready to operate even though you don't need them at that time. I completely trust the folks over at Techno RV. So if they say Southwire is the best one they found and that's the one that they're going to sell, I believe them, and I'm going to believe in this unit because of that. If you have any problems with it, it does have a 2-year warranty. And as I mentioned, Techno RV is really good with after the sale service. In fact, one of the things they do is whenever you buy something from them, they will send you a little bit what they call a learning series. And it tends to be a link to product demonstrations or manuals or anything else you might need to get up and running with a product, or maybe to check up on it later because you forgot about something. I really like that they do that, and it shows that they care about not just selling you a product, but also making sure that you're able to use the product correctly and that you are enjoying your purchase. And if not, they want to work with you to make it right. That says a lot about the company. So if you feel like you're in the need for one of these portable power stations, I think Southwire would be a really good one for you to look at. If you get it at Techno RV, you're going to get the service after the sale that you need. And I think it's just a great combination. If you need one of these, that's the place to go. I will put a link in the description below so you can go straight to those pages and find these units if you're interested in buying one. In the meantime, keep on trekking, and we'll see you out there.